Everyone. So today I want to talk about Federal Reserve and some more macroeconomic pieces of info and key things that are extremely helpful, not just in real estate, but they apply to many different investing vehicles, such as like stock market, bonds, real estate, like all of it, crypto. But I typically am looking at it from the lens of how it applies to real estate. Um, but when you really dig into what the financial system is, how it's made, how it operates, stuff like that, you'll soon realize that all the money in the world is no longer backed by gold, and they call that a fiat currency. And we've had these for several hundred years, a couple thousand years. Um, and what's interesting is they all have certain patterns, and one of them being they all fail, and then the next one being they constantly have to expand, so new money has to be introduced to the system. And when you fully understand it, though, it's not all doom and gloom. You can apply it to your advantage. So the first thing I want to show is for the U.S., the main bank is called the Federal Reserve, FOMC. The chairperson, his name is Jerome Powell. Um, and there's a lot of info out there on like how they operate, what they do, and stuff. But I want to talk about things that you can actually use and help your real estate investing. So right now, especially before the election, you'll hear a lot about like Jerome Powell and what's going on in the news, especially with what's happening with interest rates. And what's really interesting about interest rates, though, this is the central bank. So when they change this interest rate, think of it as the first domino in a chain reaction. It'll influence all the interest rates. And I've been able to study this a long time, over 10 years. So I've really been able to, at an early age, grasp how powerful what the central bank, like how powerful they are in their actions. And in my opinion, central bank's more powerful than the president, but that's a whole different conversation. So the first thing I want to show though is, or talk about is everyone always has opinions on what's happening with interest rates. And I've been studying this exact source for 10 years now. And what's really cool, what's really helpful is this is called CME Group. It's free. And this is hands down the single best way that you can possibly like guess that's forecast what is happening with interest rates. And the reason being is this, not to go too deep into it, but essentially this is based on futures pricing data. And what all that means is basically it's showing you what institutional money is doing, like what real life money, big funds, like all different types of funds, pensions, life insurance, stuff like that. It shows what they are betting on, basically, what they think interest rates are doing. So it's you don't have to like guess as much. Obviously, it's not a crystal ball, but you don't have to like bank on looking up the latest news article, which they're always biased. And so this is really cool because I've been able to firsthand observe this single source for 10 years. And it is by far the very best thing that I know of that I've witnessed. It changes each day. Like this is the target rate, the target window. And so then like all interest rates, credit cards, mortgages, auto loans, anything you could think of is influenced by this rate. Like it's, like I said, the very first domino. And so it's cool, for example, we can see this is especially volatile with the election just a couple months away. But we could see that this is the current rate for the FOMC. And then down here, you could see what the forecast is. So you could pick like a date. They have meetings every like 6 weeks or so. And it's a 2-day meeting. And there's a lot of layers to the meetings. So it's not really what they do at the meeting that's most important, but it's the hints that they give on what they're going to do in the future. So typically, when you see they had a meeting, the actual action that took place isn't what's most important. It's the hints, the little golden nuggets that they're dropping of, okay, hey, at the next meeting or in 3 or 4 meetings, we're probably going to start doing this. That's what the true smart money is looking for, is any possible hint. So anyway, you can quickly look here and see, okay, that's where the current benchmark is. And you can see by the end of the year, we're probably going to at least get, like, these are quarter, they do it in increments of 0.25. And then the target rate is a window. And they're able to influence this by all sorts of things. But what's most relevant to this, though, is it can help you identify bullish and bearish trends in the market. So, like, for a while, this has shown that rates have not going up, like for many, many months. This helped me identify, okay, rates paused going up and plateaued. And for a little while now, it's shown that cuts are on the horizon, and that it is more volatile and harder to predict, like during election years, not just presidential, but then in 2 years again, like Senate, stuff like that. But it is definitely the best thing I know of, and it helps minimize a lot of the guesswork. And so when you're trying to plan ahead on how aggressive you want to be on maybe portfolio expansion, balloons, refinances, this is an excellent resource. And they give a lot of tools to explaining like how you can use it, probabilities. You could see a lot of historical data. And then lastly, the other thing I wanted to mention on it is you can look pretty far ahead. Now, this is always changing every day, but it gives a really good idea, like I said, of what that smart money, that institutional money is expecting.